From Main and Gervais, this is ABC Columbia News.
Be patient about all this. We've got to wait for this war to get out of here and make sure no more comes before we start with any conveniences, so to speak, again.
Hundreds of people. In fact, the number tonight is about 500 people evacuated from the Forest Acres area after the Over Creek Dam gave way to water on top of water. I'm Ben Hoover. Thanks for joining us tonight for ABC Columbia News at 11.
And I'm Alicia Barnes. More on the evacuation in just a moment. But first, just a few hours ago, President Barack Obama gave the green light for emergency disaster relief right here in South Carolina.
This declaration means several counties in the state are eligible for federal aid to compensate uninsured losses that came as a result of the flooding. Now, the counties included in the declaration are right here. We're going to list them: Charleston County, Dorchester, Georgetown, Horry County, Lexington, Orangeburg, Richland, and Williamsburg. Residents wanting to file for this assistance should go to disasterassistance.gov. That's disasterassistance.gov, or you can call this number. It's 1-800-462-FEMA. The number's on your screen. That website's on your screen. 1-800-462-7585. This will begin the process of getting some FEMA help for you and your family if your home was damaged.
And this is very, very good news, Ben, for a lot of people, because people who did not live in flood line areas, who did not have flood insurance, this will definitely be able to help offset that cost.
Right.
We want to go back to our top story right now, where hundreds of residents have evacuated the Forest Acres area after the Over Creek Dam gave way this afternoon.
Our Grace Joyle joins us live now from AC Flora High School, where many of those evacuees are seeking shelter tonight. That evacuation affected about 500 people, Grace.
That's right, Ben. This high school is home to more than 100 people tonight. It's just a fraction of about 500 households that were forced to leave their homes earlier today. And we were monitoring the situation from a bridge downstream of the dam break. It's one of a handful of dams in the Gills Creek watershed area that's been defeated by this storm.
With no power, this 40-plus-year Forest Acres resident came down to Trenholm Plaza to find out if he needed to go.
I got an 80-year-old mother, and I don't want to rush up at the same time. You got to go when you got to go.
Hemphill Pride III did not live in one of the 500 households that was forced to evacuate Monday afternoon.
Found out we're good, but this is crazy.
Officials ordered the evacuation to residents on Over Creek Road and nearby streets after the Over Creek Bridge Dam broke. A couple miles downstream, they also closed the stretch of Forest Drive that crosses Gills Creek by Trenholm Plaza. The creek, swelling over with all the extra water from the dam, threatened to knock out the bridge.
We see this happening in the rest of the country and low-lying areas, but never anything like this here.
Forest Acres Police Chief Gene Seeley says at least 3 dams have breached in the Gills Creek watershed. Spring Lake Dam is at risk of breaching. He says debris as large as pontoon boats and boathouses floating down from other broken dams is putting immense pressure on the Forest Lake Dam. As the objects fill up the spillway, the water rises.
It adds more pressure. It could pop any time.
Chief Seeley says they're watching it closely.
If that were to happen, then we need to move up the hill pretty quick.
The additional water would head downstream from the Forest Lake Dam to an already maxed out Lake Catherine, and that's a huge problem.
You're talking thousands of homes if you follow the Gills Creek watershed.
Even if you have not been ordered to leave your house, if you live south of the evacuation zone to Lake Catherine.
We would encourage them, if they got another place to stay for a day or two, that would be great, just as a precaution, because again, we don't know. There are more dams that could break.
Forest Acres asking you to be safe rather than sorry.
The community is really coming together very strongly, and we'll get through this.
So it can rise above the floodwaters and rebuild.
And Chief Seeley tells me that the stretch of Forest Drive across that Gills Creek will be closed for as long as it needs to be. It's really just a matter of keeping you safe. In addition to monitoring the evacuation zone, just so you're aware, the department is also fielding flood-related calls, so certainly working extra hard to keep you and your family safe out there. Live from AC Flora High School, Grace Joyle, ABC Columbia News.
All right, thank you so much, Grace, for that report. We're going to check back with you a little later on in the newscast. Again, if you're just joining us right now, we want to recap earlier this afternoon, the Over Creek Dam burst. Now, following that, a mandatory evacuation was ordered by the Richland County Sheriff's Department in order to get residents to safety. A shelter was also set up at AC Flora High School. That's where Grace Joyal was reporting for us tonight. Now, staying in the Forest Acres area, hundreds of residents' lives were uprooted today when that dam broke, and it left so many to just now have to wait and hope.
I mentioned 500 people. That should be more like 500 homes, which would be a lot more than 500 people tonight affected by this mandatory evacuation in the Forest Acres area right along Gills Creek. Our Beth Rousseau joins us now live from AC Flora High School. We go back out there now with more on how they're coping with today's upheaval. Beth, there are there's medical assistance there as well.
Yeah, Ben, Alicia, there was a doctor here earlier for people in case they needed that. But we are still seeing a few people trickling in here at AC Flora. This is one of 30 Red Cross shelters open across the state, and officials are expecting that number to increase. And that's certainly a relief for residents across the state, as so many of them were left without a home following this weekend's historic rainfalls. Stephanie Pascars is one of hundreds spending their night in a shelter after being evacuated due to the Over Creek Dam failure.
I was figuring it was over, and I ran to the grocery, did some errands, kind of went a few places, and when I got back, the police wouldn't let me in my neighborhood. In fact, the whole area was roped off.
For Midlands residents who, like Pascars, think the worst is over, Columbia Mayor Steve Benjamin says think again.
There's some major challenges that we're facing. Infrastructure is failing in the county and Forest Acres and the city everywhere in sight.
As officials work to deal with the damage left in the wake of the weekend's weather, those who have lost their homes seek refuge, making the services provided by shelters that much more important.
There are people sitting in their cars just kind of waiting. People are scared. People are wet and scared.
With more than 30 Red Cross shelters open across the state, officials are encouraging those in need to take advantage of the service and to avoid any potential risk.
If you got to get out of your home, and certainly if you've been asked to evacuate, please get out and come straight here to AC Flora or one of the other designated shelters.
For evacuees like Pascars, having a place to stay means one less thing to worry about.
I am a little bit concerned, I am a little bit stressed, but I choose to give it to God or whatever and just let it go because there's nothing I can do about it.
Now, we've been told that here at AC Flora, they can handle about 400 people, and right now they have a little over 100, so nowhere near capacity. Pets are allowed here. They have water, as you can see right here behind me, there's water, and I'm told they're going to provide food in the morning, so certainly if you are out there and looking for a shelter, you can head right here to AC Flora. For now, reporting live, Beth Rousseau, ABC Columbia News.
All right, thank you, Beth. And today's dam break was caused by the rising water surrounding the Gills Creek Basin.
That's right. Our Amanda Fitzpatrick joins us live now from North Trenham Road with the latest on the situation there. Amanda, you're right there at Forest Lake Gardens. That place was washed out yesterday.
Yeah, the water's still here. As you can see behind me, just looking at that Forest Lake Gardens, where you can see the plants produce as well as the clay pieces broken along here with water still there. Now, the water has receded. It's not completely flooded, but again, you can still see very clearly the damage. I want to give you an idea and paint a picture of the neighborhood right now. We went behind the businesses. We walked around the neighborhoods, and it is eerily quiet. Most of the houses were completely dark, and again, just very quiet. We did see one couple walking a dog, but outside of that, it's just a very quiet area with the evacuations. Most of the people over there at AC Flora High School. Again, here you can just see live why the water again taking over the area. We also want to point out that we saw two vehicles with X's on them, where you could tell that they had also been flooded out. People leaving behind their homes and leaving behind their cars. And then again, as business owners return back to their businesses, this is what they are seeing, the devastation to that as well. For now, we're live. Amanda Fitzpatrick, ABC Columbia.
Amanda is right there at Forest Lake Gardens. Across the street is, of course, Forest Acres Police Department. They have flooded out. They're now operating out of Good Shepherd Church. So, again, that's right there, ground zero, Gills Creek watershed, Gills Creek Basin.
Right.
Yeah. Now, in the northeast part of Richland County, let's take our focus there right now. Neighbors are telling us that there are concerns tonight about the Beaver Dam. They are trying to prevent it from breaching tonight. This evening, Richland County residents living in the affected areas in the Wildwood subdivision, a huge neighborhood, huge area in Richland County. Some of them have been asked to evacuate. This is just a voluntary evacuation at this point.
Absolutely. And to give you a clear idea as to where we're talking about, the subdivision is close to I-20 and Clemson Road. It's right off of Sparkleberry Lane, heading the direction of Polo Road. Now, this evening, we spoke to a resident who sent us cell phone video and pictures of the scene. Let's listen now as Dr. Shilpa Srinivasan describes the situation via phone.
What has happened so far is that there have been several 1-ton sandbags each. There would be at least, I would say at this point, 6 or 7 of those sandbags that have been placed in and around the conduit where that breach has occurred that has stemmed the tide. And most recently what we saw was that the next plan in place was for a steam shuttle to actually create a trench to try and create a low-pressure diversion of the lake area from the upper part of Beaver Dam to the lower part of Beaver Dam so that there wouldn't be a significantly high output flow. Police personnel came by to recommend that residents on both sides of Beaver Dam Lake evacuate, and at this point they're not calling it a mandatory evacuation, but they would have recommended that we do when roads are still traversable.
Shilpa, not to cut you off, I just want to be able to get to exactly what we're talking about. If people are just joining us right now, this is in the northeast part of Columbia in the Wildwood subdivision. Again, you said that there's evacuations that are taking place, not mandatory just yet, but people are being asked to leave. And I understand that there's a grassroots effort going on right now trying to be able to get some help in the area. Talk to me about what residents are doing again.
So residents have really banded together. I mean, this is such a community effort, and it really showcases just how much the city has come together to act as one to try and make sure everyone is safe. It started off very early this morning when the breach started happening. Residents, both from Wildwood, from the General Homeowners Association, as well as the other non-homeowners associations, parts of this area, have all banded together to try and make sure that everyone is safe, that everyone is able to still have viable property and homes and shelters. So at this point, as I've said, the breach has occurred, but they've tried to fortify that breach to keep the dam from eroding completely.
Okay. And just before we go on to weather there, I want to be able to say we did check in as of an hour ago. It is still holding at this point. So again, as we said, those evacuations in the northeast part of town in the Wildwood subdivision are just voluntary at this part. They are not mandatory at this point.
Let's right now get a check on the forecast. Of course, we had a little bit of rain today. Didn't make those recovery efforts any easier. And then into the overnight hours, we'll have things like work going on at the Beaver Creek Dam going on.
Yeah, meteorologist Greg Armbrecht joins us live right now in the Weather Center with a look at our current conditions. Hey, Greg.
Yeah, guys, I'll tell you what, it's very, very damp out there tonight. We still have some lingering showers. We have cool temperatures, still a little bit of a breeze. It's just a little bit creepy when you go outside tonight. If you can, just stay at home. Just take it easy. Again, we're just trying to get through this here. Still some lingering showers just up to the north. This is not terribly impressive, but again, a few sprinkles that I do expect to gradually push down to the south over the next couple of hours. That will not enhance the flooding. We're just still concerned about all the rainfall that has fallen over the past couple of days. This will not cause additional flooding, but it's really the moisture still up to the north that has to come all the way down through the streams, creeks, and rivers. That'll happen within the next day or two, so we'll have to continue to watch this, certainly remain aware of the situation. Low pressure off the coast now moving away. Here's the drier air just up to the north. Once we get this line of showers through here in the next 6 hours, that is it. Then we see improved conditions. Again, additional rainfall, less than 1/10 of an inch, so we're really not concerned with additional flooding. But look at what we've seen, just for perspective, even up to the north, 3 to 6 inches in the Charlotte area, up to the north and west of the Columbia area, 5 to 10 inches there, off to the south and east, 10 to 20 inches. All of that moisture has to continue to push towards the coast. That's the problem here. So yes, the rain has stopped falling for the most part, but we still have to get all this moisture down to the Atlantic. 5 to 10 inches again to the north and west of Columbia, 10 to 20 off to the south and east. Tomorrow's forecast, this is beautiful, sunny skies, temperatures back into the 70s, so at least the weather improves in tomorrow's forecast. I'll have much more coming up.
All right, some very sad news to report now. According to officials, the flooding has taken the lives of at least 9 people.
And 5 of those are in Richland County. Richland County Coroner Gary Watts has identified the following. These are the names of the dead so far in this flood. Alexandria Holmes, Alex Holmes, she goes by Alex, Timothy Gibson, Robert McCarty, and Melissa Hall and Robert Alois. Watts says the victims' bodies were all recovered from vehicles involved in the flooding in Richland County. I've already heard from a friend of Alex Holmes. I've posted a GoFundMe site on my Facebook page. I also heard from the sister-in-law tonight of one of the other victims, Melissa Hall, and I'll make sure that I get that GoFundMe site up on my Facebook page as well.
Right, and then one of the victims, of course, was a DOT worker who lost his life. He was 45 years old near the Gardners Ferry Road area. I understand the truck that he was in just swept away with the waters. That's how serious this is. You know, it's just very sad to be able to report this news.
And tonight, Governor Nikki Haley is urging South Carolinians to stay home and off the road. She's been saying that for about 48 hours now.
ABC Columbia's Jennifer Reddy tells us how the governor is taking action to start the recovery effort.
In today's press conference, Governor Haley addressed 2 major concerns as we move from this response phase to this assessment and recovery phase. Those include the lack of water available and road safety.
This is dangerous. This is very real.
Across the Midlands, the rain is beginning to tamper, but the danger from the heavy flooding still remains. Off Garners Ferry Road, businesses are left completely destroyed, and roads are collapsed, leaving only debris behind.
The roads are still unsafe. A lot of them have been undermined by the flooding, and so the road may look perfect on top, but if you drive across it, it could collapse. We've had that happen.
After catastrophic rainfall over the last 48 hours, officials say at least 9 people have died from weather-related incidents. In addition, hundreds of roads and bridges remain closed, and more than 40,000 people are without water.
Everybody is requesting water, especially in the Midlands area. They are without water.
Now starting to focus on recovery in some areas of the state, Governor Nikki Haley made a verbal request for a major disaster declaration, which expedites the process for federal assistance.
Those things cover individual assistance, public assistance for things like debris removal and emergency protective measures, hazard mitigation, damage to infrastructure.
The governor says they are setting up several water distribution sites across the state, including 4 here in Richland County. They're working with Walmart, who donated 80,000 water bottles to the Palmetto State. But again, the governor is reminding people to still stay off the roads if possible. It is not worth risking your life or the lives of others. From EMD, Jennifer Reddy, ABC Columbia News.
And tens of thousands across the state continue to be without water tonight, and still more are under a boil water advisory.
The city's water infrastructure sustained multiple breaks during the flooding, including a 60-foot wide breach in the Columbia Canal. Here's a look here. Now, city leaders say they are working to repair the issues as quickly as possible.
We're out there right now identifying where the lines are broken, what size lines, what it feeds, and how we can open and close valves to get as many people in water as possible.
We got an update from the city today around 2 p.m. There are boil water advisories in effect across the state and here in the Midlands.
Now, the following communities are all currently under boil water advisory. I was just checking right now to make sure that these are all what we have is the very latest. The city of Columbia, Sumter City and County, and Chapin remain under a boil water advisory tonight. Now, the advisory has also been lifted in West Columbia and Springdale. If you are in one of those communities still under a boil water advisory, please boil your water for at least 1 minute prior to drinking or cooking. Do not use any of the ice cubes that come from an ice maker. The water is safe to bathe in, however, and that is one of the big questions a lot of people did ask me via Twitter, on Facebook. We're saying with the boil water advisory, of course, you can take a shower, you can take a bath. It's just you don't want to drink that water. So that even means brushing your teeth. You want to use bottled water to rinse your mouth out if you need to be able to put any water, no water to be able to be in your body.
Which is very strange if you're trying to get a child to do that, by the way. They're used to, they're creatures of habit. But anyway, let's run through those times and locations again for this fresh, clean water that is being distributed tonight. Or I'm sorry, I should say that will be tomorrow morning. Most of these distribution centers are closed, and then tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock all the way to 6:30 in the evening, these locations, these points of distribution will be set up. Columbia Convention Center, Metropolitan Convention Center, Walmart on Forest Drive, Lower Richland High School and the Landmark Shopping Center. That Landmark spot is where a lot of the Forest Acres evacuees went for water tonight. Dutch Square Mall and Richland Mall will also be distribution sites tomorrow, again, from 8:30 in the morning until 6 at night, right around that time.
We're going to take a short break now. We're going to have more on this aftermath of this historic flood.
And as we go to break, no news is good news. Lake Murray Dam, of course, holding steady. They continue to release water out of there. So a lot of folks in Lexington County always talking about the Lake Murray Dam. We all should be talking about the Lake Murray Dam, but it is rock solid, we hear from officials. We'll be right back.
Thank you for joining us tonight. When you see the damage left in the wake of this flood, it's just almost hard to fathom what we're seeing. The images, when you're in people's homes, when you see the destruction that it left, and everybody, it's just, I think, Ben, what's so surprising with all of this is people are just so happy to have their lives.
Absolutely. I mean, and rushing water is a force to be reckoned with. I mean, even standing water does so much damage, but seeing it from above provides a completely different perspective. Here's ABC meteorologist John Ahrens.
Well, as soon as you get near downtown Columbia, you get to the southeastern side of the Congaree River. That river looked more like the mouth of the Mississippi. We saw it covering businesses right near there, even getting up near the interstate, covering or getting up to semi-trucks. So that puts it at least 6 feet deep. The Congaree River is at its highest in decades. The flooding pushed across State Route 48 and edged closer to the I-77 exit ramp. Feeding into the Congaree is the Rocky Ford Lake. Here, we found the greatest damage. Homes underwater. The lake's rushing past at a frightening speed, washing out several bridges. In just this small section alone, we counted a dozen homes submerged. Authorities say there are thousands like this in Richland County alone. The issues that it's going to cause longer impacts for Columbia, water quality. We got major water quality issues in that city, and we talked to one restaurant that doesn't know how much longer they're going to be able to stay open. And keep in mind, they're the ones feeding all the people here trying to help out in the rescue and recovery missions. We're in Columbia. Meteorologist John Ahrens, Chapter 9.
Yeah, I don't think I even realized how extensive the flooding is in the area until I saw it from above from a chopper like that.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Your 7-day forecast coming up with Greg Armbrecht.
And we're also going to go back out to AC Flora High School with our Grace Joyle, who is live there, where tonight people are calling that school home. Stay close.
Good Monday evening. Hopefully you and your family are safe this evening, just taking it easy, just kind of 1 hour at a time here. The flood threat, yes, the rain chances have significantly decreased, but the flood threat is really not done just yet. Still have to watch an awful lot of moisture. A lot of that rainfall that fell up to the north still has to work its way down all the way through the river system. So we're going to have to track this the next couple of days. Rivers, for the most part, have peaked, but they're still very much above flood stage, so we'll have to watch this very, very closely. The one nice thing in tomorrow's forecast, finally a blessing after 12 days of measurable precipitation. Sunshine returns in the forecast. Again, that is a beautiful thing. We'll take every bit we can, and really slim rain chances across the 7-day forecast, which is exactly what we need. So fortunately, Mother Nature is going to give us a little bit of a break here. Area temperatures right now, upper 50s to the north, lower 60s to the south. But I'll tell you what, it's very damp out there. Still a little bit of a breeze, and with cool temperatures, it's definitely cold outside. So for whatever reason you have to go outside, which is not recommended, make sure you dress warm. It's definitely chilly. You can see the winds out there right now, still about 10 to 15 miles per hour. We have had some trees down out there. The winds will gradually decrease through the rest of the overnight, and tomorrow the wind should remain under 15 miles per hour, so that's a good thing as well. Satellite radar shows some shower activity, some sprinkles up to the north. This is very, very light rainfall. This will gradually move through the area over the next 6 hours. Then we're done. High pressure builds back into the area, which is great news. Really start to dry things out here the next couple of days. Low pressure sitting just off the coast. That will continue to move away. Good riddance along with you. High pressure will build in from the north. That will really give us sunny conditions and very comfortable conditions the next couple of days. Temperatures will warm into the 70s each afternoon. That'll certainly feel quite nice. Hour by hour forecast for the rest of tonight. Again, some cloud cover, a few lingering showers out there can't be ruled out. Wake you up tomorrow morning. don't worry if you see a few clouds into the morning hours. I promise you, as we work our way through the day, high pressure starts to build into the area. We all go to sunny skies, probably late morning, early afternoon. Then temperatures warm nicely into the 70s. Really should be a nice afternoon. Kind of get outside and try to get some things taken care of. As we go into Tuesday night, once again, another chilly night. Temperatures will fall back into the 50s, so it's going to be a very cool start to our Wednesday. As we go through Wednesday, once again, another beautiful day. Lots of sunshine, comfortable temperatures. We warm nicely into the 70s for Wednesday afternoon. Then we'll do it again on Thursday. We do it again on Friday. So again, we get a nice little break here. Tonight, 57 degrees, lingering showers, gradually clearing skies very late tonight. North breeze 5 to 15 miles per hour. Tomorrow's forecast, this is just absolutely beautiful. 8 o'clock, 57 degrees. A few clouds into the morning. We gradually start to thin them out. By the noon hour, we jump to 65 degrees into the afternoon. We push into the 70s. It'll feel quite nice out there. And just seeing that sunshine should help to boost morale here just a little bit. The 7-day forecast, again, no rain chances across the board. That is a great thing. 73 degrees on Tuesday. For Wednesday, middle 70s there. Then late into the week, upper 70s, close to 80 degrees. A little bit more cloud cover Friday into Saturday, but for the most part, the extended forecast looks dry, which is exactly what we need right now.
All right, thank you so much, Greg. Up next, we're going to take you back out live to AC Flora High School.
That is a shelter tonight for evacuees in the Forest Acres area, and we'll be right back with a live report from there. Stay with us. Back to our developing story tonight. 500 homes in the Forest Acres area along Gills Creek have been evacuated. Mandatory evacuation issued earlier today. A lot of them now seeking shelter at AC Flora High School. I believe Grace Joel reported about 150 people are there waiting for the to find out when they can return to their homes.
And let's send it back out now live to Grace Joel. Grace, as it gets later, what's the mood like at AC Flora?
Well, you know, there's certainly a somber mood. The rain is starting up again, and there's a chill in the air. About 100 evacuees are staying the night here at AC Flora. It's just a fraction of the 500 people that were forced to leave their houses on Over Creek Road and in the area this afternoon. We were monitoring the situation from a few miles away at the intersection of Forest Drive and Trenholm Road. It's about at a Trenholm Plaza. Crews decided to shut down the stretch of Forest Drive that crosses Gills Creek. They're worried about how the increased water flow will affect the bridge. They tell me it will be closed for as long as it needs to be to keep you safe. The Over Creek Dam is one of at least 3 dams in the Gills Creek watershed that's breached, and residents affected by today's breach are refuging here at AC Flora. The high school can hold up to 400 people, and the Red Cross tells us that they're only around 100 people currently. And an important note for all you families out there, they do accept pets. Officials say they're closely watching these dams, and the Red Cross says it's here at AC Flora for the long haul. Live from AC Flora High School, Grace Joel, ABC Columbia News.
Grace, if you can hear us and if you can stay with us just real quickly, can you tell us more? Did a lot of people happen to bring kids? Like, did we see families, or were these more adults that came to be able to stay there at AC Flora tonight? Just kind of take us to the mood of kind of what's going inside, because this has to be just a hard adjustment to be able to know and tell your young children, hey, we got to pack up our stuff and we got to head out.
It is, you know, and it would be hard for anyone. These people are, you know, they did what they had to do, and they're here, and it's not a comfortable situation to have to leave your home with as many belongings as you can carry. But the Red Cross has made it as comfortable as it can be for these people, and they're just anxious to get home as soon as possible. But of course, they want to make sure that when they do so, it's safe to do so.
All right, thank you, Grace. And Grace, we have to go to break, but I was talking to Beth Rousseau about this earlier. I was asking if there's any medical assistance that's needed there. I've got some nurses reaching out, wondering if they are needed there tomorrow. Also donations, things like that. We'll be sure to get that information from our reporters on the scene. We'll post that on our website and also on our Facebook pages.
Absolutely.